News, facts, opinion. Lace up those kicks and hold on tight. It's about to go down. Welcome to the Conservative Minded Podcast, a place where realness and rights trump emotions and fear. If you're looking for conservative talk with a soulful, educated vibe, then it's time to crank it up. Now, here's your host, a published author, a righteous brother, a soldier, scholar, and patriot, Mr. Helluva Robert Waples.
What's up, everybody? Wow. What a week. What a week. I want to welcome you to Conservative Minded. I'm your host, Rob Waples, aka Mr. Helluva. And I need that iced tea. I need that iced tea in my life right now. It has been one really weird week. And first off, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. If you came to check this out last night, you will see that the broadcast got kind of cut short. I think it's a little suspicious, if you ask me, that it got cut short, namely because it didn't happen until Joe Biden's face showed up on the podcast. You know, when his face showed up, then all of a sudden, boom, I started running into problems, so on and so forth. You know, anyway, it's just a little suspicious, if you ask me. So, you know, especially the light that I put up, the light that I put Joe Biden up there, and he was half asleep. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping they don't cut me off this time. And you got to bear with me because I'm working with a new platform here. But I think it looks something like this. Did it work? Am I still alive? I think I'm still alive. They didn't cut. Okay. They didn't cut me off. All right, cool. Anyway, that was last night. You know, they kind of cut everything short, man. It was just absolutely nuts. Want to thank you for tuning in tonight. You know, if you got some questions, I've got some answers for you. Talking about tonight, you know, it's a laid back, you know, nasty, snowy night outside. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of thank everybody for tuning in and checking out the video last night. Even though it was kind of cut short, I was still able to record it. And even though I was able to record it, I was able to upload it to YouTube. So if you want to go over and check out the entire full video, you could do that. All you got to do is just go and find me, Conservative Minded Podcast, right there on YouTube. It's also on this page. It's the one with Sleepy Joe as the thumbnail for the video. So you can go and check that out. It looks a little something like this. So you can go ahead and check that out. But, you know, if you're watching tonight, you know, I just want you to do me a favor and just kind of throw an O face in there for me. You know, the wow. You know, just throw a little wow in there for me real quick and let me know that you're in the comments section. I really appreciate it. And I'll be kind of answering any questions anybody has about anything in particular. I have some, yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still alive, Kalita. So, you know, you throw a little wow face in there or a thumbs up or anything like that. I really appreciate it. But so tonight, you know, I just kind of think that Mark Zuckerberg is just kind of doing the most, man. You know, I think that he's just ruling with an iron fist. And everybody says that this is, you know, Facebook, it's his platform and he can do what he wants to do and so on and blah blah and all that other stuff. But, you know, thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Khalid. I appreciate the wow face there. I just think that, Mark Zuckerberg is just doing the most. He's just doing too much. I actually read a statement not too long ago. I think he was testifying or something like that, where he said that he literally wanted to get rid of politics off of Facebook. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get rid of politics off of Facebook. Well, what he really was trying to say is that he wants to get rid of conservatives. He wants to get rid of the conservative point of view, the conservative frame of mind. He wants to get rid of them off of Facebook, us off of Facebook. And, I will remind you guys that we did that once before not too long ago. We actually got together as conservatives and talked amongst ourselves, and we decided that we wanted to go over to Parler. You guys remember? You guys used to, remember a platform called Parler, right? We went to Parler and created accounts and wanted to discuss, politics and conservatism and republicanism and stuff like that over there, on Parler. And what happened to that platform? What happened to Parler? I mean, I could tell you what happened to Parler. Parler got shut down. It got completely disbanded. So, to the point where it almost bankrupted the company, and that's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible, where we try to get together and discuss things that, to discuss things on our own, and it's not enough. It's not enough. You guys want to just stifle, thought, freedom of speech. You want to just kind of eliminate us altogether. I kind of feel like we're an endangered species. Kind of feel like we're being hunted, like it's some Hunger Games type stuff going on here. It's getting absolutely crazy anymore. And give me a quick second. I got a buddy of mine here that is trying to find a live broadcast, but he's kind of new and he's not really sure. Not really sure on how to find it. But maybe I should tag him in the comments. But anyway, let me see if I can tag him in the comments. At Tom Lewis. So yeah, I mean, I'm getting there. You don't have to worry about it. I'm definitely getting there, to the point where this is starting to get a little out of control now. And you have to admit, trying to find a workaround like we have, with Parler and stuff like that, like, there's still freedom. It's all a freedom of speech issue. It is really what it comes down to. It really comes down to being free to say what you want, even if it's unpopular. That's the whole purpose behind the First Amendment. Being free to be you, to do you, no matter what. And people are stifling that. Big tech firms, they're trying to curtail that. They're trying to mediate that. They want to control it. And it's really just the beginning, if you want my opinion. I think it's just the beginning. I think that it's the beginning of them trying to crack down and stamp down on unpopular speech, and basically, they want to force us into believing what they want us to believe. And now, you're welcome, Thomas, no problem. And it's really sad. It's really sad. We created Parler, and we wanted to do the Parler type thing, and that just wasn't good enough. Even that wasn't good enough. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, what is going to be good enough? What has to happen? What's going to happen next? What's in store for us conservatives around the corner? I don't get it. I don't get it. And the worst part about it is, you Democrats out there that are watching or seeing this on the rebroadcast, you guys condone this type of behavior. Because if Donald Trump had did it to you, if George Bush had did it to you, if George Bush Sr. had did it to you, you would be stomping up and down and burning cities and rioting, talking about it's a violation of your First Amendment rights. But because you have Trump supporters out here and people who might not be, all in the in the know or woke, or might not even agree with your point of view, you just want to go ahead and you just want to kind of put your knee on their neck, for lack of a better term, and you want to stifle them. You want to stifle us, and that's just not cool, man. It's just not cool. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing stuff about this impeachment trial. What's up with the impeachment trial, y'all? Is that still a thing? You're still trying to impeach Donald Trump? Well, Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution does give impeachment control to the Congress. And it does. Oh, and I'll come back to that. This is my Undercrown Maduro Gordito. I smoke this a lot. It's a really good cigar. It doesn't fly apart on motorcycles while you're smoking it. It's just a good cigar. But back to what I was saying. Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution basically states that Congress does possess the sole authority to impeach a person, a president or a senator or anyone that's holding office, and then it gives the explicit authority to basically try that person in the Senate. So if you read the Constitution, it states that in there that the Congress has the right to pass articles of impeachment and the Senate has the right to try them. Well, do you understand what it says at the bottom of that? It says at the bottom to remove a person from office. Let me ask you a question. Why in the hell are you wasting taxpayer dollars, effort, and energy to impeach a president that's no longer the president? He's not the president, y'all. He hasn't been the president for quite a while. So what exactly are you doing? The whole purpose of impeachment is to remove somebody from office. To remove them. Supreme Court justices can be impeached. Congressmen, governors get recalled. Okay, presidents get impeached. So if he's no longer occupying the Oval Office, and he hasn't been for quite a while now, what exactly do you think you're doing? Because Article 1, Section 2 does not say anything about impeaching a private citizen, and that's exactly what Donald Trump is. He's a private citizen, whether you want to admit it or not. I think that if you want to go ahead and you want to impeach a private citizen, then that's all well and good. But I'll put it to you like this. I think that if you're going to impeach a private citizen, then we need to go after Barack Obama for what he did while he was in office. Hey, if you're in the comment section, give me the wow face there. I like the O face. So go ahead and hit that, just let me know that you're paying attention, that you're watching. I appreciate it. I think that we should go after Barack Obama for what he did while he's in office, because it's only right? I mean, it's only right. If you're going to go after Donald Trump and he's not even in office anymore, then why can't we go after Barack Obama? I mean, it's only fair. Barack Obama killed a U.S. citizen without a trial, without confronting his accusers, without any type of trial, without exercising any of his rights. Not speedy trial or the right to confront his accusers, to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. Barack Obama killed an American citizen. Yeah, the guy was a terrorist. He was a piece of garbage. I'm not going to debate that. I mean, at least Barack Obama had something in mind when he killed that dude. I really do think that they were trying to save lives because the dude was a terrorist. It doesn't matter that he was overseas in Yemen when he was killed by a drone strike. The order still came from the president. and the president knew that that man was an American citizen. I don't hear anybody saying anything about, well, we need to do this and we need to do that when it comes to Barack Obama. Everybody wants to just lay everything at the feet of George Bush. Everybody wants to lay everything at the feet of Donald Trump. And I don't get it. Kathy says they want to erase him from the history books. The government has done this since the beginning of time. Yeah. I think that you're absolutely right, Kathy. I think that they are trying to, the powers that be are trying to erase Donald Trump from the history books. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's sad. It's really sad. Donald Trump did a lot for this country. I mean, you don't have to agree, and that's fine. It's your right to disagree. It's your right to think that, you know, Donald Trump was human scum or whatever it is that you think. That's perfectly fine. But you have to admit that Donald Trump did a lot of things as far as lifting the spirits of this country. You know who Donald Trump reminds me a lot of? Kathy, now that you mention that. To me, Donald Trump reminds me a lot of Ronald Reagan. Now, in my humble opinion, I think that Ronald Reagan is probably one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. You know, when he was elected, we were just coming off this 1970s oil embargo. If you're a car guy or a car person like I am, you'll notice that all the power muscle cars started dying out in the 70s. Well, why do you think that is? Well, the reason why they started dying out in the 70s is because they started passing CAFE standards. They started passing all sorts of emissions, regulations. And that's what the government does. You know, the government tries to force you into, they try to force the public to go down a road that we don't want to go down. And so in the 70s, when oil became hard to get from Iran and the institution of OPEC, and what is it, oil producing something nation, I don't know, whatever OPEC stands for. It should stand for mafia. But, you know, if you'll remember, that's when in the 70s, when oil was hard to get, and gasoline prices were, you know, through the roof and all that other stuff. I mean, for that time, the government started forcing us down emission standards, you know, and inspections and all this other stuff when it came to personal vehicles. And that's what the government does. The government forces us into holes that we don't want to be in. And so when Ronald Reagan came to office in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan reminds me a lot of Donald Trump. Ronald Reagan made you feel good about being an American again. And that's really what it came down to. That he made you feel good about being a red-blooded American again. You know, and you could go back and you could take a look at all the quotes that Ronald Reagan said. You could sit there and see all the high-level meetings that Ronald Reagan had with various leaders around the world. You can see what he did, you know, towards in the stock market. Ronald Reagan had a profound impact on the American economy and the American psyche. And he made you feel good about being an American again. When Jimmy Carter was in there telling you, well, if it's a little chilly in your house, put a sweater on. Some of y'all watching this aren't even old enough to even remember who Jimmy Carter is. But y'all want to stand up in the floor and tell me about blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, he actually said that on a national broadcast. Put a sweater on. Much like Donald Trump. Donald Trump came in after 8 years of Barack Obama. Okay? Remember, in the 70s, we were just coming out of the Vietnam War. We had the scandal with Richard Nixon. You had Jimmy Carter up there. I mean, just Jimmy, you know, it's Jimmy Carter. You know what I mean? But, you know, you had these things going on. And so, you know, that's why I kind of look at Donald Trump as sort of like the second coming of Ronald Reagan. If you look at the top of my page right here, you'll see that I have, you know, Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan standing side by side. And that's the reason why I kind of look at them as almost equals. You know, while I do think that, you know, Ronald Reagan faced down the Iron Curtain and the Soviet threat, you know, possible World War III at any moment, we don't necessarily go through that now, but we do have China, which is a major superpower. But anyway, I kind of see Donald Trump as being that guy. Donald Trump is the guy that made you feel good about being an American again. That's how I see it. You know, I don't necessarily think that everybody watching this program would agree with me. But if you don't, I mean, if you have questions, throw them in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them. But Donald Trump made you feel good about this country. Yeah, we've got blood on our hands like everybody else. Yeah, we've got a list of transgressions a mile long, but every country does. It's not just the United States. I would be very hard pressed for me to believe that there is another country out there that's greater than this country. I firmly believe that. The wall behind me, I put my ass where my mouth was, and I backed it up. I do firmly believe that we are the last bastion for freedom and hope in the entire world. You know, everybody else, you know, oh, well, the UK has this. They've got universal health care. Or, you know, this country has that. Well, you know what? They have all these things, but at the end of the day, they're all trying to model themselves after the United States. And if they get in trouble, who's the very first person that they're calling? Who's the very first country? They're calling us. They're calling us. And us being who we are, we will always answer the call. But Donald Trump made you feel good about being an American again. He went down and built a border wall, which is the reason why you have to have walls. You have to have walls. You have a lock on your front door, right? You have a garage door. You lock your doors when you go in the supermarket, right? Why? For the same reason that the United States should have a border wall. To me, I find this extremely hard when I consider this common sense. You know, he built a border wall. The stock market has never been higher. Unemployment through the floor. You know, unemployment is absolutely through the floor. You know, and that includes every race. That's not just white people. You know, that's not just folks that, you know, folks that are well-to-do or make X amount of millions of dollars a year. That was everybody. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, everyone. Unemployment was at historic lows. He went down south to Mexico and was bringing jobs back into the United States. He passed all sorts of regulations that made it more difficult for countries or for companies to take their labor and their work elsewhere outside of our country. Gave some corporations tax breaks for them to keep the jobs here in the United States. At one point in time, we had more jobs than we had people to actually fill them. You know, this is, I mean, it made you feel good about driving an American car. You know, people sit there and say, oh, well, you know, you tout all this stuff about Americanism and stuff, but you drive a Toyota. Well, yeah, I do have a Toyota, but I also have 2 American-made motorcycles and an American-made Classic. So, Smokey and the Bandit, that wasn't made overseas. It was made in Lordstown, Ohio, 1979. So, you know, those are the things that I believe. You know, and so, you know, when people say, well, you hold Donald Trump in such high regard, hey, there are things that Donald Trump has said that I completely disagree with. Okay. There are things that he has said, there's things that he has done that, you know, I disagree with. And I get it. I get it. You know, he's president of the United States. You're not going to be able to keep and make everybody happy. You're just not going to be able to do that. But at the same time, you've got to take an America first attitude and approach. This is your home. This is our home. And Donald Trump, for me, he did that. He made me proud to be an American again after 8 years of Obama, after 8 years of George Bush. You know what I mean? It was just with the Dodd-Frank and the housing crisis and this gigantic depression that George Bush created. You know, George Bush is a hell of a president, you know what I mean? But, you know, he just made some questionable moves, and I think every president does. But Barack Obama was just the absolute worst. and that's what I believe. And after living through that for 8 years, it's just crazy anymore, man. It's now we're at at each other's throats with this identity politics. We can't be friends anymore. Now we have to turn around and Kalita says, "You leave George Bush alone." I love President Bush. Make no mistake about it. I love President Bush, and while he was president, he was president, and we'll leave it at that. But that's how I feel. So you want to go back on topic. You want to go after Donald Trump, and you want Donald Trump to lose his Secret Service protection. I'm going to tell you the real reason why you're after Donald Trump. Okay? The real reason why you're after Donald Trump is because you don't want him to run for office again. Come on, man. We're not stupid. Some of us conservatives, we have this thing called common sense. You don't want him to run for office again because there's 74 million of my friends that are going to vote for him no matter what. You know it. You know it. You know that no matter what, Donald Trump's got 74 million people that are going to vote for him. I don't want to talk about the last election, but I'll put it to you like this. You can't keep that shit up forever. Excuse my language. You cannot keep that up forever. You can't. You know you can't. But us, it's organic. It's organic. And we're coming for you. What is that? 2024. 2024. We're coming for you. We'll see. We'll see at the polls. We'll see it. And we're not going to forget. We're not going to forget this. Not talking about no revenge. It's funny how you guys keep talking about unity. Keep talking about, we need to support each other and all this other fake me out stuff. That's cool. But we're not going to forget this. We're not going to forget this. I'm excited. I think that in 2022, we have a very good chance of, 2022, 2024, we have a very good 2026, we have a very good chance of us conservatives filling the ranks with people that are going to do the job. We're going to get rid of the old rhinos like Lindsey Graham. We're going to get rid of the rhinos like Mitch McConnell. People that are in it only for themselves and have been it only for themselves. And we're going to replace them with people like Kim Klacik. You know what I mean? We're going to replace them with people that are going to get in there and do the job. And that's what I'm excited about. Hey, my printer is acting up over there in the corner. Hold on a second while I shut this thing off. It's interrupting me. Okay, so that came completely out of nowhere. I'm wondering if somebody is spoofing my website and trying to jump in here and print out a Nazi symbol or something on my printer. I wouldn't be too surprised if something like that happened. It is Facebook Live, by the way. So with that being said, on to the next topic. I really do, well, to summarize what I was saying about Donald Trump, I do think that Donald Trump was much like Ronald Reagan, and so let's talk about the news that's not being reported. There's a lot of things, like for example, this one particular topic that I'm about to bring up. It took me 25 minutes of scouring website after website after website, search engine after search engine, and I used multiple search engines. It took me 25 minutes to come up with this topic so that I could speak at it and speak on it at length. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you are a conservative or if you have conservative values like I do, we are a hunted species, man. We really are. I really do believe that we are in this kind of situation where people want to get revenge against us because of what they think or what they thought about Donald Trump. That's really what it comes down to. They want revenge, and it's terrible. It's terrible anymore. But of course, they'll never come right out and say it. But so, give me a split second. I need to. So let's talk about cigars. I'll come back to the next topic. My favorite cigar. There's many. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know that much about cigars, and so when it comes to cigars, like it's sort of like I got into cigars, and I'll tell you where I got my start of cigars. I used to be a member of a SWAT team, and being the youngest member on a SWAT team, we used to have this tradition, so that the youngest member of the SWAT team's responsibility was to go and procure cigars anytime a situation was resolved peacefully. So what that basically meant was that, if you had a barricaded subject and, we forced the guy into surrendering, or he let the hostages go and then he turned himself in and nobody got hurt, no shots were fired, everybody came out peacefully, we would go to the end of the corner because we would usually evacuate a 2 or 3 block radius. And then so we would go to the end of the corner by the telephone pole, the team would, and then the youngest guy had to give everybody on the team a cigar. And that was to kind of celebrate, no one getting hurt and us being able to live to, fight crime another day. This was a long time ago, by the way. So showing up on the TAC team, I was the youngest guy. And so it was tradition to do this. And so when you show up, you better not show up with any BS cigars. No BS, man. These guys were cigar smokers, and they knew what was good. They knew the brands, they knew the style. You had to look at every member on your team and kind of memorize. All right, he likes the Lancero. That's more like a woman's type of, but that's what he likes. He likes a Maduro Toro. He likes a Gordito, Connecticut Shade. And then you would go and you would pick out cigars for all your guys. And you would keep those cigars in one of your pockets at all times. If in the event that something happened and you got a call out, everything got resolved, everybody got a good cigar. And you had to keep a little mobile humidor in your locker so that you could keep them fresh and stuff. And so I went out and I bought some Romeo and Juliets, and I didn't know anything about smoking cigars, and I didn't know nothing about it, but I got an education very, very quickly. And then so I hate to kind of say that, it was the EST or the ERT team that got me hooked on cigars. I'm not hooked, by the way, but this is my Drew Estates, underground Gordito, Undercrown Gordito Maduro. And we here at Conservative Minded, we love cigars. So if you feel like sending some, knock yourself out. I will give you a big shout out, on the air. But anyway, they're not cheap. This is a $12 cigar, and it is a 6 inches, because each cigar has what they call ring gauge, and they have a length. So the ring gauge is usually anywhere from a 50 to about a 60. It's pretty large on the 60 side. So it usually goes anywhere from 50 to 60 on a ring gauge, and the ring gauge is usually about how fat the cigar is. Now me, I ride motorcycles, and I need a cigar that I can smoke while I'm riding, and all that wind hit me in the face. And so I found that this cigar was actually placed into my bag while I was celebrating my birthday at the Tinderbox in Waldorf, Maryland, which is one of our sponsors here on Conservative Minded. And I had never smoked this cigar before, but I was given this big gallon Ziploc bag, and some of your friends and associates just throw cigars in there, wish you a happy birthday. And I found this in there one day a few years back, and I pulled it out and I took the cellophane off of it and I cut it and I lit it up, and this has been my favorite cigar ever since. So I do not know who put this in my bag, but I just want to say thank you, sir or ma'am, for whoever put this cigar in my bag, because I've been smoking them ever since, and it is a fantastic, very even draw, very nice flavor. And if you are new to cigar smoking or you don't know anything about cigar smoking, you're not supposed to inhale. It's not a cigarette, okay? Cigars are not supposed to be addictive, and they're not addictive. The whole point, and they're not flavored. Now, there are flavored cigars, but these cigars, the aficionados, do not smoke flavored cigars. The cigars that you smoke, you're smoking them because you want to roll the smoke around inside your mouth. You do not inhale it into your lungs. It does not poison you. You do not, even the most seasoned cigar smoker, you will get sick. So, do not do that. You're rolling the smoke around in your mouth, you're tasting the different flavors, and then you're blowing it back out. That's the whole purpose of a cigar. They've been smoked for centuries, and they're very calming, soothing, relaxing, especially when you have a nice bourbon. I'm sipping iced tea here, okay? This is iced tea. But if you happen to have in your glass a nice bourbon and a very good cigar and a microphone and a camera, well then, buddy, you're doing better than 98% of us. So cheers to you. So, on to the topic. Let me light my cigar real quick. So, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi bought a whole bunch of stock, and this has been confirmed. Nancy Pelosi bought a whole bunch of stock in Tesla. Yes, Tesla, the electric car manufacturer. Oh, really, Miss Queen. So you know Likey the cigars? Well, you have to be around somebody that smokes a good quality cigar. There are the qualities of cigars are very, very different, and we're not talking machine-made Black and Milds here, okay? We're talking high quality, top-notch, tinderbox made or tinderbox sold cigars, okay? So, with that being said, my comment section is crazy right now. So let me go in here and, oh wow. So Nancy Pelosi decided that she wanted to buy some stock in Tesla. Right around the same time that Joe Biden passed an executive order making over 650,000 government vehicles all electric vehicles by a certain time period. Boy, that's funny, isn't it? I thought America's grandmom, America's sweetheart, America's grandmom went to jail for insider trading, for doing something like that, named Martha Stewart. Didn't she go to jail for insider trading? And it wasn't even something as egregious as this. It wasn't even as something as egregious as this. But Martha Stewart served months, years in jail for insider stock trading. Nancy Pelosi buys stock in Tesla, and then Joe Biden passes an executive order making all government vehicles electric vehicles. That's absolutely terrible, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's terrible. Oh boy. how come there's no news on this? I mean, there is, but it's coming from the places that you guys you don't give any credence to. Places like Fox News, Red State, Town Hall, Daily Mail, all the conservative places. You know, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, you know, they, Bloomberg, what's that, a Huffington Post. They won't report on it though. But everybody else will. So that's what y'all are doing now? So Speaker of the House is nothing but a cash register. That's what this is. It's a cash register. You or I had did that, our asses would be in jail tomorrow. We had to did something like that, we'd be in prison. Nope. Absolutely terrible. This is exactly the reason why we need to drain the swamp. Donald Trump was absolutely right. The people in Washington, D.C. do not care anything about you and I. They don't care. They couldn't care less, to be frank, to be honest with you. They don't care about us. They use our tax money to do what they want to do with it. They just don't care. Oh, that's a good cigar. Sorry about the smoke, y'all, but in my office here, my office exists for the comfort of me and me alone. If you cannot accept this, then you cannot accept me. And I will ask you to promptly leave. So, let's talk about guns for a minute. Now, for those of y'all out there, I had to take my glasses off on this one for a second. A lot of y'all don't know I'm an engineer by trade. And so for a long period of time, I worked in the weapons division for the Department of Defense. I won't go into too much detail about it because I can't. But what I will say is that I'm extremely well versed both in practical use knowledge, engineering principles, technical principles, of how weapons work, how they function, their design, implementation, maintainability, reliability, as well as how they're procured through the U.S. government acquisition system. So a lot of my friends, I'll come right back to your comment in a second there, Kathy. A lot of my friends will hit me up when it comes to knowledge about weapons, about guns. And everybody has a Second Amendment right in the United States to own a firearm. Okay? And I don't know about you guys, but I don't deal with people that, you know, I'm not in any type of stereotypish or that's the Ice-T talking. So anyway, I always get the age-old question: 9mm, 45, which is better? Me personally, I'm a 357 SIG fan. Same ballistics characteristics of a 357 Magnum, but it's in a compact 357, automatic type of setting. You get a lot more rounds, and it's strong enough to kill anything alive, like a grizzly bear. If you and your family are camping one time up in Yellowstone or something like that. But it's still controllable and easy to procure rounds for. So I'm a big 357 SIG fan. But as far as my collection, I'm from Pennsylvania. And the one thing I love about Pennsylvania, Maryland, Kentucky, and I believe it's Massachusetts, are all commonwealths. And so, we pretty much are not strangers to guns. Much like Georgia and Florida. And so, when I was a police officer, and someone says, "Hey, officer, I've got an AK-47 with nuclear-tipped bullets in the bed of my pickup truck," I didn't get alarmed. I wasn't too out of sorts. But do me a favor, hold for a split second because I need to make a quick modification. Boom. Boom. All right. I don't know how my audio is right now. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. I'm not sure. I had to make a change because my audio microphone was doing some funky things on me and I didn't necessarily like it. So here we are. But so back to what I was saying. Guns are nothing new to people who were raised around them. And so, I like to go to the range and punch holes in paper. It's very cathartic. Plus shooting is a perishable skill. It's something that if you don't do a lot of it, you'll eventually lose muscle memory and things like that. So shooting is a lot of fun for me. And I like to help people with their builds, make recommendations, so on and so forth. So I tell everybody, if you're over the age of 21 and you have a full-time job and you're not a felon, you should own a gun. I think everybody should have guns. I think the world would be a much nicer place if everyone owned a weapon. But a weapon could be anything. But I think that you should own a firearm. It's your Second Amendment right. I don't necessarily think that people that shouldn't have them shouldn't. But I think that if you're entitled to it, I think why not? So back to off the gun tip, and back to what it is that Kathy said. They're covering this up with the GameStop BS. Ah, yes, they are. GameStop. Let me tell you a story about GameStop real quick. So I'm watching, and I'm watching, and I'm watching, and I'm watching, and I'm watching. And I'm watching, and I see GameStop is like at 1 billion%. Oh my God. Everybody's making all this money off of GameStop. I got to get in on the action. Sort of like y'all with the Bitcoin stuff out there and you lost your pants. Anyway. So, GameStop. So I took $100. Now, I had $100 laying around in some, I used to dabble a lot in stocks, okay? But I don't really dabble that much in stocks anymore, for various reasons. But I was pretty good at it. So I never took an L. I never lost any money. I always gained, but it was always really, really slow gains. So I took $100 and I threw it into GameStop last week. I watched that $100. I just watched it because I knew, hey Rob, Mr. Helluva, and I'm a hell of a lot of things, but a millionaire is not one of them. So said, hey, Mr. Helluva, yes, you put $100 into GameStop. Why, yes, I did. And what happened? I made $138. I made $38. So I made $38 in like one day, which is pretty daggone good, right? And that was on Friday. I woke up on Monday, it had fell by 20%. I decided to sell my shares at, it was like 73% or so, $73. When I sold it and it actually, the sale was completed, I was down to $34. I was like, oh my, it was volatile. And I knew that. And I'm not stressed about losing $100. I don't have a problem with that. But I just wanted to dabble in it just to see what it would do, just to see, kind of say, hey, yeah, I got my foot in there. I got my toe in the water. I want to see what it's like. And so I had a good time. It was really, really interesting watching the market, do one of these and all that other stuff. But now everybody's into the cryptocurrency and so on and so forth, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah, they're using the Tesla purchase by Nancy Pelosi and the executive order by Joe Biden. They're using the GameStop. Kathy's absolutely correct. They're using that as a smoke screen to cover it. So be careful and be aware of what it is that everybody's doing. on your behalf. These politicians, they're supposed to work for us. They're not supposed to be doing stuff that we can't do. They're not supposed to belong to healthcare plans that we can't get. They're not supposed to own weapons and stuff that we can't buy. They're not supposed to be doing that stuff. They're using our taxpayer money in order to do it. And it's not right. So, which brings me on to another passion of mine. Like I said, y'all, if y'all got questions, I got answers. Nothing like a good cigar. Anyway, that's just me. Harley Davidson. Now, I own 2 Harley Davidsons. I used to own 3. But I got 2 Harleys. And let me tell you about Harley Davidson. They are in the hot seat again. America's premier motorcycle manufacturer for, you know what, they've basically filed for bankruptcy. They've basically filed for bankruptcy, restructuring, and all this other. So many times I've completely forgot. I've completely forgotten. And so here they are yet again, trying to restructure and reorganize. Because in 2020, Harley Davidson only made $1.2 million. Their entire company. I'm assuming that's after them breaking even for salaries and all this other stuff. 1.2 million. That's it. If any executive, and I know that's probably not true, but if any executive is watching this show, okay, let me tell you this. The reason why your company keeps going through everything that it's going through is because you are behind the 8 ball. You're coming out with electric motorcycles. Nobody that I know wants to ride an electric motorcycle. The whole purpose, the whole point of getting on a motorcycle and riding with your face in the wind is to feel the rumble, to hear the rumble, to feel the power in your wrist. To all those things you're taking away from us when you institute an electric motorcycle. It's too faddish. You're trying to be woke. Harley, do me a favor. Do what you do best. Make motorcycles that leak oil on the ground everywhere they go. That have terrible, terrible factory warranties. Stick to what you know. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that the U.S. government needs to do when it comes to this Green New Deal and all that stuff. When the American public is ready, when we're ready, we'll let you know when we're ready to make a transition. We'll let you know when we're ready to transition to solar power. We'll let you know when we're ready to transition to wind power or hydroelectric or whatever other, fission, tabletop fusion, whatever, nuclear react, whatever it is that we're ready to do as the general public, we'll let you know. We don't need you to ram this stuff down our throats. And that's exactly what you're doing. And that's exactly the reason why you're not selling any motorcycles. I'm not buying another Harley Davidson. I'd rather go to Indian. I'd rather go to Polaris, other American-made bikes, than to spend my money with you. Because you don't get it. That's really what it comes down to. So, once you, hey, what's up, Lenny Wood? Once you figure out exactly where we're coming from, you have to follow the signs of the public and not the government. The government is a giant monolith. It's a juggernaut. Once it starts going, it's almost impossible to get it to stop. Its whole existence of the government is to perpetuate its own existence, which is to perpetuate its own existence. The whole purpose of the government is to keep it in power, to keep it going, to make it relevant. If we transition from fossil fuels over to hydroelectric, solar, wind, whatever, then we're going to need the government that much more to help ease the transition. You understand where I'm going here? It's not hard to understand. It's called common sense. Instead of the government doing what it is that we're supposed to be dictating to them, or what we're supposed to be, letting them know that we want, they've become an entity owned in and of themselves, where they can dictate to us what it is that they want. Read the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. Kathy says, loud pipes are safer. Let them hear you coming. I believe that. I have a set of Reinhardts on my bike. Kathy, I have a set of Reinhardts, and they're connected to a set of Vance and Hines D&D True Duels, which are my headers. So trust me, when I fire my bike up, my neighbors know it. I try to keep it down to a minimum out of respect for my neighbors, but when I fire the bike up, they hear me coming. What's up, Lenny Wood? How you doing, Mr. Lenny Wood? You got any questions for me? I know you do. I was drinking coffee earlier. I'm almost out. But I wanted to do a little question and answer session here, for the simple fact that sometimes it's really, really easy to kind of lose sight of yourself. To kind of lose who you are, what you know. Stick to what you know, stick to what you did, just being yourself. And somebody very close to me, reminded me of something that, if you get a little too out of pocket, God has a way of smacking you back into reality. And I kind of chalked last night up to exactly that. I tried to do a little bit too much. And so one of the things that I really want to do is get back to just being me. I have not been myself for so long. I've been conforming to someone else's standards. I've been doing things the way that someone else has been wanting me to do them. It kind of felt like the last year of my life I've been performing like a circus monkey. That's the way I feel. And it's really sad, because sometimes and even the strongest of us every now and then loses a little bit of, and I'm being real with you guys, even the strongest of us loses a little bit of confidence in ourselves from time to time. And every now and then, when you realize that you're not who you really are, you have to do something drastic to regain control. You have to do something extremely out of the norm in order to remember who you are, in order to remember what it is that you're about. And so that's what I did. That's what I had to do. That's what I've done. I've just kind of gone back to the basics, getting good interviews, asking good questions, putting information out there that people want to know. And just standing for the truths and on the principles that I want to stand on, because I know where I stand and I know why I stand there. And those are things that are all very, very important. The only people that they're not important to are your adversaries. And these are things that I had to remember about myself. Don't forget where you come from. Remember who you are. Remember what you believe in. Remember God. Remember country. Remember the flag. Wrap myself up in the red, white, and blue. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I believe in. Family first. God always. Country forever. And so there, believe it or not, are going to be people out there that do not want to see the best for you, regardless of the things that they say. And you just have to remember that if it's for you, it's for you. I firmly do believe that conservatism is the best political platform to stand on. I believe that conservative principles and values are principles and values that every American should seriously consider. I believe that, having and being weary of tradition is something that we can all take time out of our day to investigate, because it doesn't come without sacrifice. Being a conservative is not an easy thing to be. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be a conservative. Instead, there's something else. Being a conservative means that you have to stay true to yourself, true to your values, true to your God, whatever God that might be. You have to be upright, you have to lead by example. You're going to be a leader in your community, in your family, someone that people can count on. When times get tough, your phone rings. Be that person. That's what being a conservative means. Being responsible for yourself, being responsible for your personal responsibility, owning up, stepping forward, volunteering, looking out for those that may or may not be able to do for themselves. That's what being a conservative is all about. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Not being an American, it's only by luck that you and I were born here. Had we been born in Cape Town, had we been born in Prague, would we be so in love with the United States? Probably not. It's by luck and pure divine divinity that we were even born here in this country. But it's our responsibility to nurture it and take care of it. We do that with conservative values. We do that by being responsible for our own actions. We do that by helping others, especially those that can't do for themselves. Those are the things that make me a conservative. Those are the things that I believe in. We didn't get here by accident, and it's not easy being a conservative. It's not an easy thing. The only thing that I can really say is that the only thing I've ever wanted to be in my entire life is somebody that my kids could look up to. Somebody that my kids could look at and say, you know what, my father put it all on the line. Every day, all day long. And that meant Christmases, birthdays, other holidays, that he was not here because he was in the armpit of the world trying to save somebody. And I feel like now that I'm home, our values and things that make us conservatives are exactly the values and things that people use to hunt us down. I don't know what it is about being a Democrat that people love so much. I don't understand it. Always looking for a handout, waiting for someone to do something for you as opposed to you doing it for yourself. Always just kind of sitting back and just waiting for some magic person in some magic place to do something magical for you. Like somehow they're going to just make your life easier. You're entitled. And that's really what a Democrat's entire mantra is that they're entitled. Whereas you and I, us conservatives, we have to work hard every single day when we get up and the sun goes down, and we have to do battle with the forces outside of this country that, there are wolves at the door that would love to rip that red, white, and blue into shreds. And it's us, even if you never served in the military, it's our principles that keep them outside that gate, that keep that drawbridge up. And we man the ramparts. And we keep them outside the gate. I don't understand what it is about, it's so lovely about what it is to be a Democrat. Kalita says, welcome back. Thank you, Kalita. This is who I am. This is what I love so much. You know, I just love getting on in front of the camera and just explaining to the entire world who I am, what I believe, what I've seen, where I've been, you know, and just letting the chips fall where they may. It's good. I'm glad to be. I'm very, very happy to be home. Thank you, Khalid. I'm very happy to be back. But you know, and let them call you names. If you're a conservative, let them call you names. Let them make fun of you. Let them try to hunt you down, pigeonhole you, stereotype you, call you a Nazi, call you a racist, call you an Uncle Tom. Let them call you whatever they want to call you. But right here is where it matters. Right here is where it counts. I've had enough. I've had enough. I ran for public office once and I won. And who I was when I won that election is who I feel like right now. I feel good. I feel strong. I feel like I'm back. So, with that, I'm going to kill this broadcast. It's been an hour. So, you know, didn't get too many questions. Got a couple of discussions. Got a frowny face. Hey, you can't please everybody, right? But, last minute question from the last minute guy. Let's see. Lenny Wood, he says, Pelosi definitely violated the Stock Act. Tesla stock is about $825 per share. Her husband mysteriously bought about $1 million before Biden announced a plan to purchase electric vehicles for the entire federal automobile fleet. You're absolutely spot on, Lenny. Absolutely spot on. You or I had to did that, we'd be going up to the Hooskow. We'd be on the land. Be like a couple of runaway slaves through the woods and the swamps. There's them dogs out here. There's them dogs. If that was you or me, man, we'd be up the river. But no, Nancy gets to do whatever the hell she wants to do, right? Absolutely terrible. That's a shame. It is insider trading. And they locked up Martha Stewart. They locked up Martha Stewart for the exact same thing. Except now she's out and smoking weed with Snoop Dogg. But yeah, that's insider trading. And I guarantee you the Securities and Exchange Commission ain't gonna do nothing about that. The same way they ain't gonna do nothing to Robinhood. This is one time where I wish I had an account with Robinhood. Because if they had froze my account, I'd sue. Hold on. Doesn't some celebrity own Robinhood? Who is it that owns Robinhood? Some I don't know if it's Ryan Reynolds, some actors, somebody famous owns Robinhood. But when they froze they basically manipulated the stock market. Oh, keep an eye on that, y'all. Keep an eye on that. That's keep an eye on that. Because I never tried to open up a Robinhood account. My account is through who is it? Whoever it is. They're not giving me a check to quote them out to quote them, so the hell with them. But I have an account. What is that? Ameritrade, TD Ameritrade. I can't remember. But yeah, that's crazy. They manipulated the stock market by freezing all trading for that particular time. So that's nuts. But like I was saying earlier, before Lenny Wood came in with his crazy comment, now he says Harriet would save us. Yeah, they're putting Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. You know what that a Russian owns Robinhood? Okay. Hey Lenny, talking to you right now and talking to the rest of y'all out there, I'm going to put it to you like this. You know the reason why they're so quick to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. I'll let y'all think about that for a second. Why is Joe Biden so quick to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill? Here's my theory. I think that the reason why the Biden administration is so quick to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill is because he knows that he owes the black community something for getting him elected. And what better way to appease the black community than to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill? There. You know what that reminds me of? Moses in the Bible. Why did Moses never make it to the promised land? Because in the Bible, Moses took his cane and he tapped the rock and said, "There, I have given you water. There, I have given you water." Moses didn't give those people water. God did. And that's exactly what this is. Joe Biden has to appease the black community. There, I have given you Harriet Tubman. All right, yeah, I'm kind of ready. I'm reaching. It's kind of thin. I'm reaching, but hey, whatever. Let's see. That was up for discussion long before Biden. Okay, Kalita. I'll give you that. It was up for discussion long before Biden. And I do think who's on the $20 bill now? Andrew Jackson. I think Andrew Jackson might be on there now. Andrew Jackson was a lieutenant in the boat on the night that George Washington crossed the Delaware River to go kick the hell out the Hessians on Christmas Eve. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Yep. So. Yeah, it's a good cigar. I ain't have a chance to smoke it. I've been doing so much talking. I drank all my iced tea. All I got left is a little bit of cold coffee in my Conservative Minded Podcast coffee mug. Hey, I got some hats made up. I got some t-shirts made up. I got really awesome coffee mugs. You guys want some? Hit me up. Let me know. Send me a PM. Andrew Jackson. Yeah, crappy Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson wasn't... Was Andrew Jackson? I don't think Andrew Jackson was that bad. All right. Yeah, and Andrew Jackson was not necessarily a good guy. I'm thinking about Thomas, is it Thomas? Oh, what's his name? What was his name? Thomas? Not Thomas Edison. One Thomas Edison. So, was it Thomas Jefferson? Yes, Kathy is correct. Thomas Jefferson. That's who I was thinking of. Thomas Jefferson. Now, who was it that owned Monticello? Was it Thomas Jefferson that owned Monticello? Yep, Thomas Jefferson. For some reason, you know whose name kept popping into my head was Thomas Edison. And that's because we were talking about Tesla earlier. And everybody knows that Tesla was a Russian assistant to Thomas Edison, who basically Thomas Edison stole everything from. All the nurses here listening love this. Thanks, Kathy. Tell all the nurses I said make sure that they subscribe, and I'll give them a shout out on the next broadcast on Monday. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, nursing. Let's talk about nursing real quick, which I know absolutely nothing about. The closest I ever came to any type of medical profession was the CPR that I learned. And I learned how to give IVs because I'm a combat lifesaver. That's pretty much it. That's as far as my medical training goes. Well, that and organic chemistry, because what was it, anatomy and physiology? I had to take that in college, and that proved to kick my little butt, learning about cells and all these different cell division and all that crap. But that's a very, very noble and very honorable profession, nursing. And my uncle, he retired from the FBI. He became a nurse. That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But let's see. Kathy says he was awful to anyone who wasn't white. Are you talking about Andrew Jackson? Or are you talking about Thomas Jefferson? I don't think it was Thomas Jefferson. I think you're talking about Andrew Jackson. Yep. And believe it or not, he's the one. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Really, Lenny? Really? So with that being said, I'm trying to think. I had a really good point, but Lenny threw me off with the whole nurses thing. Yeah. Who was it? Yeah, I was definitely thinking about Tesla. So I was thinking about Thomas Edison. So, oh yeah, and when you pull your cigar bands off, you should usually wait for them to get kind of high, because the heat from the bottom of the cigar usually loosens the glue that keeps the band together. But in order to keep from looking like a cigar snob, a lot of times I'll take the band off early, so you can't really tell what kind of cigar I'm smoking. Since I got everybody on here, I'm going to go to an hour and a half. Let me give a quick shout out to the folks that do our coffee mugs, baseball caps, t-shirts, sweatshirts. Boom. Beltway Designs. Go check out beltwaydesigns.com. They got a lot of really awesome stuff in there. They make all of our stuff here on this show, conservative minded. And like I said, tonight is not necessarily I want to broadcast and present a whole bunch of information. This is just a question and answer session. You can jump in there and ask any questions or anything, or whatever's on your mind you want to share with me. It's absolutely fine. But Beltway Designs is a veteran-owned, women-owned company. And they make all of our stuff here, and make sure you go check them out. There's something in there for your grandkids. There's something in there for your kids. There's something in there for you. So make sure you go check them out. And the second place that we have here is the Tinderbox, located in Waldorf, Maryland. This is where I buy all my cigars at. And they have really deep discounts. They've got a walk-in humidor that is second to none. They've got all the accounts with the top name cigar brands in the entire industry. They're the best lounge located on the East Coast. So whenever you're in DC, whenever you fly into BWI, whenever you come into Dulles, Reagan, make sure that you hop on a Lyft, or you go on an Uber, fly on out there to the Tinderbox. Just take a walk through. Their spirits, their liquor cabinet is unbelievable. I promise you. The iced tea that I had in my glass here tonight came from the Tinderbox in Maryland. So make sure you go check out Raj. Make sure you go check out Josh. And tell them that Rob from Comfortable. Whoa. Tell him Rob from tell him Rob the conservative minded sent you. All right, let me get off of that. So back to me doing this. I played a pretty awesome video last night. Yo, this is like my theme song. Tell me what you guys think about this song right here.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out.
Now, I am not a country fan, but when I heard that song, I had to have it. Had to have it. And so, that song is now the theme song for Conservative Minded. And I absolutely love it. So, in the comments section, let's go check out some of these comments here. We got a comment section that's kind of jumping a little bit. What do we got here? Let's see. Will Wentz be with the Eagles next year? I do not know. Kalita says, hopefully not. I do not know. The only reason why Lenny doesn't want Wentz with the Eagles is because he's a Dak Prescott fan. He's a Cowboys fan. Well, guess what? Cowboys ain't won nothing in 20 years, and you ain't gonna win nothing in 20 more. So go ahead and hype yourself up. You can hope all you want. Theme Shaw should be shut them down. That should be, you know what? If I could get the rights to Public Enemy and get that song, I absolutely would make that song. I would put that in there, no doubt. Let's see. We got some pretty awesome comments in here. This right here. God bless all the nurses and all they do. Absolutely, couldn't do it without y'all. I know the doctors, man. You know, they need you guys more than anything. So put Nat Turner. I like that. Put Nat Turner on a $100 bill to impress me. They ain't gonna do that. Ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's really no need to go so far with it. You know, all right. You wanna put Harriet on the $20 bill? Absolutely, put her on the $20 bill. But let's not get carried away. Okay. We have a tradition of putting presidents on our money. We've always done that, as far as I know. So let's just kind of go ahead and stick with what we know. Kathy said, loud pipes are safer. Let them hear you coming. That's when it comes to motorcycles. I absolutely believe that. Absolutely believe that. You'll take Wentz. Listen. This dude signed a $130 million contract. Do you have any idea what some of my friends would do for $130 million? Throwing a football would be the easiest thing to do. Oh. So, Kalita says, go so far. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we just don't go too far when it comes to, because the next thing you know, it's like, you'll have once you start doing stuff like this, it's like passing each other down a slippery slope. You don't necessarily know when to pull the reins back anymore. You understand what I mean? Like, next what? Then it'll be Elizabeth Taylor wanting to put her 2 puppies on the daggone $1 bill. Like, come on, really? Ben Franklin is not a president. Ben Franklin is not a president. You are correct. But guess what? Ben Franklin might as well have been a president, because if it wasn't for Ben Franklin, we wouldn't be here right now. And I'm not talking about lightning and electricity and all the little inventions that he created. Ben Franklin spent a large portion of his life living in France as an ambassador to France, de facto. If it wasn't for Ben Franklin, who would lobby the King of France to give the U.S. troops to fight the British on American soil, we wouldn't have never gotten an army and a navy from France. And therefore, we wouldn't have had the firepower that we needed to beat the Redcoats. So if you want to sit there and say, okay, well, he's not a president, I think Ben Franklin should be the exception. So let's see. Putting old white men on our money. A little switch up is okay. Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem with putting, people's, I don't know. You got to be careful who you put on our money. Okay, you got to be careful. You got to scrutinize. Like, all right, Harriet Tubman, absolutely. Nat Turner, there's a Martin Luther King. All right, I understand those things, but let's kind of rein it in a little bit. So. You guys make sure you hit that share button out there. Make sure nobody. So throw me that Lenny, throw me that O face up there, man. You got to put that O face up there for me. That's to let everybody know that you're paying attention, not just throwing salt in the game. What'd you say the Secretary of Health was far enough? All right, I get it. Now see. If for those of you that don't know, me and Lenny, we're frat brothers, and we go way back. We've known each other for a number of years, and so we have a rather diabolical sense of humor. But we're both conservatives, and we do believe what we believe. So all I'm saying is Kalita says, all I'm saying is show a little diversity. There were many contributors to our country's success that were not part of the good old boys club. Really? Like who? Like who? Contributors to our country's success. I don't know about you, but, signing over my very life onto the Declaration of Independence and telling the most powerful country in the entire world that you could basically go take a long walk off a short pier. I don't see very many people running, that put their name at the bottom of the Declaration of Independence. Maybe you can school me on something. Yep. Okay. Eleanor Roosevelt, probably the very first female president we ever had. Go do your research. Eleanor Roosevelt was probably the very first female president we ever had. Betsy Ross. I don't know how I feel about Betsy Ross. I don't necessarily know how I feel about Betsy Ross. Did Betsy Ross really sew the flag? Or did she have one of her slaves do it? Sandra Day O'Connor. George Washington Carver. That's a really, really good one. I like that one, Lenny. You gotta now if you could put George Washington Carver on a bill, that would be fantastic. I mean, he did invent peanut butter. As well as a whole host of other things. Black Einstein. Blackenstein? Yo. Yo. Who the hell is Blackenstein? Who the hell is Blackenstein? I want to know who Blackenstein is. Tell me who Blackenstein is. I never heard of Blackenstein. My history books, both in Black history and conventional history, never heard of Blackenstein. Peanut butter is nasty. Yep. So I'm going to share with you guys what I got coming up. My whole goal coming up is to, you know me, I've got like a little bit of a wicked sense of humor. Not wicked, but I've got a pretty good sense of humor. So I like to keep things light and funny. But I am lining up a bunch of really, really awesome interviews coming up. And we're going to go for a drive. All of us together. We'll jump in my car. Of course, when the weather's nicer, because I don't drive particular vehicles when the weather is nasty like it is. I don't drive them. Excuse me. I don't drive my vehicles like that much. And then on top of that, the whole COVID thing, you know, it's kind of hard to ride with the top down or the windows down, you know, when it's like 4 degrees outside and you're wearing a mask and you're trying to get an interview. But, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give you that. Absolutely. He's the Black Einstein, without a doubt. So, he didn't create the theory of relativity, but everything else he did, he might as well have. Shoot. But, so we got some really awesome interviews coming up. Once I learn how to figure out how to work this, the voice chat thing, and it shouldn't really be that difficult, we'll work it out. We'll have some people remote in and do a quick 10-minute interview, you know, with somebody that's really, really, you know, about being a conservative, lives and embodies the conservative values. So we'll do a lot of that. And, you know, as far as like just fielding calls and answering questions and just trying to get out there and get known and let everybody know that, you know, not just old, fat, rich, white guys are Republicans. It's not the demographic that they want you to believe. The Conservative Party is made up, the Republican Party is made up of people that look just like me, people that look just like Lenny, people that look like us. And it doesn't matter what color we are. It doesn't matter, black, white, whatever. What it matters is that there's 74 million of us, and we all believe in this country. So, with that being said, I'm going to sign off. It's been 1 hour and 33 minutes. I just want to thank you for coming in on the rebroadcast of this. Make sure that you put at the bottom what state, you know, your initials for your state. Leave them in the comments section so I can give you a shout out. I want to say thank you for tuning in, watching it all the way through. Leave your comments, jump in there. You know, Black Lives Matter was nominated for a Nobel Prize. Oh my God. But anyway, you know, as if things could get any weirder, you know. Remember, check out Beltway Graphics. Check out the Tinderbox. Hit me up if you want to check out some coffee mugs. We got plenty of those, and I'll get you right. You know, jump in the DMs, slide into the DMs, or leave a comment in the section. I'll go through and holler at everybody. But I just want to thank you all. To all the nurses, to all the commentators, and to everybody watching this, I just want to bid you adieu. Say thanks again. And God bless each and every one of you. And I'll catch you on Monday. Hopefully we won't get censored this time. See you.